Oh, hey, welcome back, MVP. Streebo here with you from mutantville.com. This is going to be a Streebo swag update. The Pre-Fright Night Film Fest 2011, Fandom Fest 2011 update. Fright Night, there you go. Roger Corman. Special guest from last year. This year it's going to be John Carpenter, as you should know. Also Henry Winkler, Black Belt Jones, Michael Bain, oh, so many others. I'm not going to run them all down for you right now because we've got some more updates coming from mutantville.com, so you can go there. Obviously check out Fright Night Film Fest. But Streebo swag, let's get started. Here we go. Let's start with Gene Colan's Tomb of Dracula. Now this is the reason I wanted to shoot this, because obviously we know that Gene passed away a few weeks ago. Very, very sad. He's a fantastic artist, one of the greatest of all time, greatest horror artists of all times. Did the seminal horror comic book, The Tomb of Dracula, in the 70s, drew every single issue. I almost called it the episode. I'm started to confuse it with television, but it was so cinematic. I mean, you can just tell from this cover. But anyway, this is one I got in the mail today, because it was the only issue I was missing from this little collection. This was the 1991 follow-up to Wolfman and Colan's original Tomb of Dracula series. So check that out if you haven't. Tomb of Dracula, Day of Blood, Night of Redemption. Very, very cool. Okay, we're gonna have to rocket through this. Oh, I do have one before I get started. I bet none of you have. This is a script for The Mothman Murders, which is my latest script, which I'm actually still in the handwritten stage. I always write my scripts in old-fashioned cursive and shorthand, and do all my character sketches and everything in one notebook. Then I transfer it into script format on the PC. So there are a lot of programs for that. It's pretty easy. More cool movie related stuff. This is the Thing from Another World comic book series. Picked these up on the cheap from eBay. Pretty cool covers there. This is another series, Climate of Fear. Only got one of those. And yet another series. These are all actual follow-ups to the movie with the Kurt Russell character. Horror, Humor, and Heroes. This was a gift to me from Jim Bernheimer, sorry, I had to make sure I said your name right. Met this guy at StellarCon. I offered to interview him on Sunday, but I didn't see him there when I went back to try to get interviews, so I don't know, he must have took off a little bit early. But it's a cool book. A collection of short stories. I thought he had a real cool view on horror, and it's been a while since I've interviewed a novelist, so I wanted to do that. Speaking of novels, now wouldn't you know, right after I shoot my video on Streebo's Vault, where I showed you all my reference books, what do? I find another Clive Barker reference book on the cheap from Ed McKay's in Greensboro. Check that bad boy out. Okay, these pictures I can show you, I guess. Let me find a good one. Oh, there's the back cover for his play, The History of the Devil. This was published by Eclipse Books. The title is Pandemonium. That was the name of a cartoon show when I was a kid. Further explorations into the worlds of Clive Barker. Conceived and edited by Michael Brown. Very cool. It's got something written on the inside in pencil. This is the first time I noticed that. But anyway, it has the actual script for the play, The History of the Devil. I don't know if that's the whole script or exit after the play ends. Maybe it is. Very cool, but it's also got some artwork, interviews. Don't be alarmed, I just figured I should switch this around to the point of view angle to show you all this crap, because I know you don't want to look at me. I don't want to look at me, because believe it or not, I actually like watching these videos back and watching all my shit. But since I changed the angle, I figured I better show you a couple highlights from earlier. There's that Tomb of Dracula, Day of Blood, Night of Redemption, #1 I told you about, with Gene Colan's artwork. Rest in peace to the great artist. The Thing from Another World. That's a pretty badass cover. I don't know who this artist is. It looks like something from 2000 AD, but I don't know. And the Clive Barker one, which was pretty weird. Back cover was horrific. That's very Goya-esque, looking at it. Here's the first Fangoria I've bought in a while, number 300. This is interesting. Linda Blair is going to be at Fright Night. There's Dawn of the Dead, Christopher Lee Dracula. David Naughton from American Werewolf in London. He's going to be at Fright Night. It's going to be a cool show. Godzilla's going to be there. No, just kidding about that one. Oh, but Sawbones will be there. Mr. Matthew Ewald, who brought our slasher to life in Scarecrow at Midnight. Definitely come say hello to him, ask him about his exploits. We're going to have copies of the short film on hand. Okay, cheap plug over. I can't remember if I showed you this last time or not. I got it right around the time I shot that last video, the illustrated Harlan Ellison. I've really been getting into Ellison over the past few years. I think there's some artwork by Jim Starlin in here. A bunch of other guys. There's some pretty cool surrealist stuff. Let's see who the artists are. Oh, Jim Steranko. Yeah, no, his stuff is rare. Very pop culture, pop art sensibilities, pop art. Well known for Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's Jim Starlin, I believe. Oh, this looks like Steranko. More Steranko. I showed you that one earlier, and that was Steranko. Didn't even know it. Illustrated Harlan Ellison. From Ellison to Stephen King. Check it out, The Dark Tower. I love this series. Aside from Tolkien or maybe C.S. Lewis or Terry Brooks, I mean, Stephen King's Dark Tower series is the only series I've read more than one installment of. I like these versions that have the good artwork. I think that's Michael Whalen artwork, but I don't want to. Yeah, it is Michael Whalen. Yeah, just make sure I'm not telling you a falsehood there. The Dark Tower. Speaking of the Dark Tower, does anybody out there remember that Milton Bradley game, The Dark Tower? You had to have it to understand what I'm talking about, but actually you can YouTube search for it right here on YouTube, and there's an old commercial for it. It's funny stuff. But Dark Tower, I picked up books 5, 6, and 7, or maybe just 5 and 7. Yeah, I'm missing 6. That's the one I've got to get. From Stephen King to Lovecraft. Check that out. Cosmic horror there for you. That's The Tomb and the Dream Quest of the Unknown Kadath. I actually have The Tomb already, but I wanted this cover. I know that's like super geekdom, but check this out. This is part of a series. See how that fits together? And I've got a couple of the others too. Lovecraft, what can you say? Big influence on everybody. Before I get away from the books, I did pick up a couple more books on writing. Tough Guide to Fantasyland by Diane Wynne Jones. She was the author of Howl's Moving Castle, which I've never read, but the movie was awesome. Dark Lord approved. She basically pokes fun at all the cliches in fantasy. And Characters and Viewpoint. Looks pretty basic, but check it out. Orson Scott Card. So, a lot of good information in there. Definitely two very interesting books. Fantasyland, really only if you're planning on writing a fantasy story, but characters and viewpoint, that works for anybody, no matter what you're writing. I scored both of these at Nevermore from Melissa at Alternative Exchange. Tales from the Crypt Season 1 and 2 for a really good price. Big influence on Tales from Mutantville. You'll see that in the cover when that poster comes out. Some of my used movie scores, believe it or not, I found this Tron Legacy 3D Blu-ray in a pawn shop on the cheap. Now I was able to get Tron Classic from eBay on the cheap. Ninja Assassin, greatest ninja movie to come out that wasn't made in 1983. Definitely worth checking out. It's all CGI, gore and whatnot, but it's still a lot of fun. Best ninja action since Pray for Death or Revenge of the Ninja. Ninja 3, The Domination. Anyway, this is The Descent, again scored from Alternative Exchange. Check that out. Blu-ray, one of my faves. Oh, got this on the cheap from Best Buy. Blu-ray for House of a Thousand Corpses, which, interestingly enough, this is a good example of why sometimes it's okay to have a movie in more than one medium, because the House of a Thousand Corpses Blu-ray doesn't have the interactive menus like the DVD edition does. So if you don't have the DVD of House of a Thousand Corpses, you'll never see those interactive menus with Captain Spaulding and Otis and Baby. So get them both is what I'm telling you. This dude has a name. He's one of the madmen walking around at the end of the movie in the subterranean tunnels. He actually has a name, but I don't remember what it is. And certainly last but not least, well, this isn't last. Here we have the Heavy Metal DVD, Collector's Edition. Lots of cool extras. Pretty awesome cartoon movie for its time. It was really groundbreaking, at least in America it was. Character designs by Mobius, artwork Richard Corbin, Bernie Wrightson, voices by John Candy. What are all those guys? I think Bill Murray even has a small part. A lot of those Second City guys. Harold Ramis. Here's a good one. Buy the ticket, take the ride. $1 used DVD store. An actual mom and pop store. There's still a few of them around. Hunter S. Thompson documentary. It's good stuff. He's a guy that we need nowadays, but unfortunately he's not around anymore.